Welcome, guys. What's up, guys? How are you?
Yo, what's going on?
Not much. Super Bowl Sunday.
Right?
So everyone can pregame with the Savages and Overload from Kentucky. Thank you for joining me today and stepping away from anything going on with pregaming with football. Appreciate you guys making that time to see me. And
hell yeah, absolutely. I got them on the grill right now and seeing where we're gonna go with this tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm definitely glad to finally meet you guys. You guys are from Kentucky.
Definitely, and, Louisville, actually.
You're where?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, Louisville, Kentucky. I haven't been there in about 20 years. I plan on going back because my girl Marla, one of my other Savages, who's also one of the head admins from World Metal Scene, is from that area. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're trying to make a trip down there to make a special event, Savages on the road hitting it,
Hell yeah.
So maybe I get to meet you guys if I come down there. That would be
definitely killer. I know in July we have a big Metal Fest coming up. It's actually called Metal Fest. I think this is the 11th year for it or 12th year, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. This is Metal Fest 11, and you guys have actually been on there before. How many Metal Fests have you guys been on?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 at this point. It's really a blur because it's in the summer and you lose everything, because it's been so hot these last few times.
Yeah,
and playing in the heat of the day just kind of drains you, and it's really just a blur. But I think it's 4 or 5 at this point.
Yeah.
Fans don't work.
Yes, and the fans don't work. They stage fans.
Right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, you guys, I didn't see that you guys are playing, and that's awesome. Now, that is a cancer, is it a cancer benefit or fundraiser?
Yes. It's
actually, tell us about it?
Yeah, it's the Jeremy Wade No Cancer Fighting Weekend by Alan Ashball Presents, and everything net profit goes to the Jimmy V Foundation. So anything, and it's Friday, Saturday, and Sundays usually. Over the last few years, it's been 3 days. So everything that they make from that goes directly to Jimmy V and helps people out with the cause and the cure.
That's awesome. And that's very noble. That's awesome. You guys keep going back for that, Your minds are in the right place and you get to jam out on stage. Unfortunately,
our third member who's not here actually runs sound at across 3 stages at the whole show. Each day, every day. He's usually there camping out 3 or 4 days in advance, setting everything up. So
that's awesome. Well, again, that's really cool. And I see he is not present, and wish he could have been here. I would have loved to have met him too, but
definitely he's got some stuff going on right now. Hopefully we'll be getting back to getting him around and getting some more stuff done. Taking over the world with metal, I guess.
It seems to be the common goal for a lot of people these days is taking over the world. Nothing wrong with that. Own that shit,
Right, absolutely.
So, how would you guys describe your music? What kind of genre would you place your music in?
Light jazz? No. Honestly, it's kind of an all-around metal. There's roots of thrash, there's roots of speed, there's roots of sludge in there. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of an all-around trash metal, I guess you could call it. It's that thing that is at the bottom of the burning barrel, that sludge that's left over. I think that's really it. It's definitely awesome. An acquired taste from what somebody told me a while back. So
the older you get, the more sludgier it gets.
Yeah, because you get slower. It almost gets a little bit of doom going on too. So ending doom.
That's awesome. You know what though? I'm very musically well-rounded. I love all forms of metal, including sludge.
Absolutely.
I would love, you guys sounded great. I've checked out a couple of your videos and you guys, I love your sound, and I hear the blend of everything that's in there.
Right.
And it's cool. It's really cool. I would love to see you guys actually live and not through recordings, unfortunately, which can always disturb things. Oh, we have a surprise guest co-host who would like to join us.
Oh.
I'm going to introduce you guys to Rob from Concert Junkies.
Nice.
Yes, he is also one of my partners in the podcast scene. And here he is. What's up, Rob?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Rob.
I'm doing well.
Well, Rob, meet Mark and Todd from Overload.
Hi, guys.
What's going on, dude?
Not much. I can only be on for a little bit, so I came in to say hello.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do a lot of podcasts together. I'm usually on his with Concert Junkies, but it's a nice change of pace to bring him on to the Savage podcast. Yeah. So Thank you for making time to joining us, Rob.
No problem.
All right, so you guys are a 3-piece band. That's it's rare to hear that. And have you guys always been the 3-piece band, or are you looking to have extra members one day?
Well, it's funny that you should say that, because I'm a huge Motorhead fan. Mm-hmm. And I've always felt that somebody told me a long time ago was having a standalone vocalist is usually junk in a band. Make him do something. Make him play guitar. Make him do something other than just stand there and sing. If he's going to stand there and sing, he's really got to be powerful. Couldn't find anybody to do it, so I did it. And with being a huge Motorhead fan, yeah, they had their period of 4 people, but they really only did it with the 3 for so many years, Mm-hmm. So with that, I was just like, 3 people is all you need. And here we are 15 years later. I'm the only original member left. And the current lineup that I have with Todd and Mike have been since 2017. Oh.
Sorry, that was a clip. That was my mistake. Oh. So it's been 3 of you for 5 years, and are you guys good to go, or are you still possibly looking for a future singer? Are you content grabbing that mic?
I think at this point, between Mike and I, we've got it nailed down with where we go with everything, because I primarily am vocals and bass, and Mike will pick up on some background vocals and doubling and stuff like that live. So where we have had to consider having a 4th member, on the song Defy, we actually are a 4-piece on that one song, but that actually fell through with Cheyenne leaving the band, and we just continued the rest of the EP as a 3-piece again. So every time we've actually went to do a 4-piece, the other guitar player has bailed. Whether he's been in the band for 5 years, like Cheyenne had been, or whatever. Just so I think this band is destined to be a 3-piece, no matter what.
Mm. Yeah, and I think the reason why it works well like that is because we're all friends.
Yeah.
And as the saying goes, more people, more problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's working for you guys, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely has its thing. And I think the biggest thing is we're not up at each other's asses constantly with stuff. And we have our times where, like, my guitar player works for a shipping company. So when November comes around, he's pretty much locked down. We can't do anything for 2 months. And when January comes around, then we start, okay, what do we want to do this year? Because we've feasibly got 10 months to do whatever. We'll play shows, write and record, and play shows, and do all that.
So what do you guys do during that 2-month downtime while he's at work? What do you guys do? Do you guys go on break with him, or do you
usually so? Usually what will happen is I'll switch over and pick up a guitar and write some guitar lines. Todd is a multi-instrumentalist as well. He can write drums, bass, guitars. I think the only thing he hasn't written for the band has been lyrics. So we just collect ideas while Mike's out doing the 50,000 hours a week of work that he's doing through that time period. And we just we just formulate and write and see what sticks to the wall and go from there.
And that's awesome. That's cool. See, and that's like the best thing to do. You know, I'm sure he loves after 2 months, he's ready to hear what you got for him. He probably knows that by now too. You know.
Oh, absolutely. And Mike is actually, before he was even in the band, Mike has recorded everything that we have done. So he's engineered and co-produced the first 4 albums before he actually became a member.
Yeah. So who writes your music?
We do it collectively for the most part.
Cool.
Like I said, there will be things where I'll come in and write guitar parts and stuff. And in the earlier days, it was pretty much just me writing guitar parts as well as bass parts and vocals. We did have a drummer who liked to contribute lyrics and have a song or two on an album and such. And about the 3rd album in with Pantheon, I was going through some really rough stuff in my life, and I just was into a moment where I needed something had to happen or I was gonna break. And so I set out to write this somewhat concept album and go from there. And then that led to Only the Strong Survive, which is the same length. It's actually a little bit longer than Pantheon, but it's in 4 songs.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys have what? You guys have 7 albums, correct?
6 and working on a 7th.
Working on
We've
7.
We've released a few things outside of, we've released a few live things as well over the years. I don't count them as actual studio though. So 6 actual studio releases, a couple of singles. We did a cover of Ace of Spades and Paranoid, and we've done 2 live albums.
And that's
So
cool.
from the first album to now, you see self growth.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely am a little bit more tactful in the way I say things lyrically, and where I would just say something pretty scathing and possibly evil sounding about somebody and it just be blatantly obvious. I think I've been able to hide that a little bit better. Be a little bit more incognito with it.
That is too funny. So basically, what drives the songs that you write? I mean, is it just what's happening in life or things you go through? Well, for me, as the main lyric writer here, I don't write about things that I haven't experienced personally. So it's very hard for me to write about, clergy molestation or domestic abuse because, I haven't experienced a lot of it. Well, either of those firsthand, I guess. So I've not even lost my train of thought with what the question was. So I basically write. What triggers you to write your music? Is it like life experiences or just life, random thoughts?
Death. Most of our lyrical content is actually making a stand for yourself. Don't let people treat you like shit. If somebody tells you that you can't do something, tell them fuck you and do it anyways. Stand up for yourself.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that.
What do you think, Todd?
Well, if I ever try to write anything lyrical, it's always against what I feel is oppressing me.
Okay.
Which it could be anything from my job to, society in general.
Right.
So, and it usually comes out to be the same thing. So that's why I really don't write many lyrics for the band, if at all.
Todd isn't he says that he doesn't write much for the band, but I will tell you now, he is an amazing parody artist.
Really?
Yes, he is an amazing parody artist. He covers a lot of songs, and he might not release them, but he'll create a lot of parody lyrics to things. And
any chance that we'd get to hear one?
What's that?
Any chance we'd get to hear one, Todd?
Possibly.
Motivated. If I'm motivated, yes.
You want to get motivated?
Sure, if you want, name a song. We can.
Okay, so you're more of a spur of the moment kind of parody.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
okay.
listen to a song and then I'll just change the lyrics around. And, yeah, it's kind of like I like Weird Al, but it was kind of corny.
Okay.
I'm a little more
Okay.
raunchy.
He's pretty raunchy when it comes to.
I'm the last person you can offend. Trust me.
Definitely. But I will say this too. A lot of the time when he does this, alcohol is involved. And it's even funnier because he's gone at this point, and he's just like, "Bah, look at this."
All right, Todd, you need to grab a half pint right now and slam it. We'll get back to you in about 20 minutes.
No, 'cause if he gets anybody's number from this, he's gonna be fucking drunk texting you until 2 a.m.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier. If anybody tells me anything about Texas, just go to bed.
Yes.
Just go to bed.
Yeah, go to bed, Todd. That's what we reply. It's like, fuck the system, these motherfuckers. It's like, Todd, go to bed. It's like we already know where he's going.
I can see I'm one of those people. I could be perfectly sober at night, and all of a sudden I got a lot to say on my mind, and I'll just blow somebody up, and they'll be like, "Bitch, go to sleep."
Right? Get that reboot.
What's that going on? Ooh, it is windy where you're at. All right. Yeah. So, what bands have you guys played with?
Well, we've in the early days, we've actually opened for Exodus, Anthrax, Testament, Death Angel, DRI.
Okay.
Yeah, we've opened for some of those bands, and it's been totally fun. But here recently, I mean, it's mainly just been. I mean, I think DRI was the last, national band that we had opened for.
Yeah.
And Louisville kind of has a weird scene where not a lot of bands come through here, it seems like. They always hit Nashville, Cincinnati, or Indy. So when they do come through here, it is something special. And when they do, there's a lot of bands gunning to get on those shows.
Right. So are there what bands do you hope to play and share the stage with?
Oh my gosh. I mean, Metallica. No. I mean, I am pretty much down to, I would play with anybody. And I mean, I say that with exception of maybe
Katy Perry you'll play with?
Yes, I would play with Katy Perry.
Okay, are we talking music or playing with I said, are we talking about music with playing with Katy Perry or?
Oh yeah, but honestly, a band that I actually have no desire to open for, and I'm gonna catch so much shit for this, is Lamb of God.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You know what? I have mad respect for those guys. I love their sound. I love their music. I could give two shits what other people say. These bands, you know what? Mad respect for them. They're making that thing. They're doing something fucking right. So
right, they are. It just hasn't done it for me, I guess. I mean, I know everybody digs them, and that's totally cool. It's just not. I'm like I said, I'm a sludge, out in the muck kind of metal player, and I mean, I respect what they do. They just, I'd probably pass on the show, honestly, if it came down to it.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much open for anybody. I mean, what about you? Who would you want to play with?
Well, I have opened for other bands I played in.
Yeah.
Yeah, opened for a band called Carnifex.
Yeah.
Strapping Young Lad.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me think of some other ones.
Yeah, I know Assisting Sorrows played for quite a few people, it seemed like, when you were with them. He's a note taker. Yeah,
you know what?
Sepultura.
Just saying.
I'm not.
Old school.
I'm not. I'm on the top of the head.
See,
Me too.
I can't rely on this at all.
Yeah.
My memory is shot. My short term is gone. I got to take notes. So I understand.
But who would you want to open for, though, Todd, if you had the choice?
I'm a big fan of European metal. Like
Same.
Band, Winter Sun. I like Arch Enemy.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to be rolling through the States soon. They're going to be touring really soon. So that'd be killer. I'm hoping to see them. I think they're supposed to come to Chicago in like I think a month, if that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
If they come to Jersey, I'll be there. But
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Arch Enemy's killer. I love her. And I love the whole band. But she's gorgeous. She kills it. I love women-fronted music, singers especially with bands and everything. They just destroy that shit.
yeah.
Mad props to all the lady singers out there. I'm just saying,
That's the thing too. A lot of people don't realize. I mean, there's certain levels that you could be at. And we're at one level over there at a totally different level. But I think most people, especially young people that are trying to get into it, they don't realize how much actual work it is, and how much dedication you have to it in order to succeed at it. Even if you're quote unquote talented or a natural ability, you still have to work.
Yeah.
Yes, very
And
much.
you got to kind of, anybody that I know, I don't know many, that have went to the, quote unquote top successful, whatever, at what they do, that's all they do.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like they'll sacrifice having a family.
They have to. They have to. They got to walk away from a lot to pursue their future and their dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And a lot of people got to understand, it's not that they're turning their back on their friends and their family. They're trying to move forward with their life. And when they get to where they're going, their friends, they will look back to their friends and say, now join me.
Right.
You gotta have faith in your friends. You gotta let them pursue their dreams and realize that sometimes you have to be left behind for that to happen.
For sure. And I think being a musician, an artist, whatever you want to say, I think the ultimate ending, not ending, but the ultimate enemy is time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is, when you put in so much time into something and it either does not happen, like people look at Metallica and they're an exception to the rule because they were like 18 and 19 years old when they were, when they really got big.
Right.
They were super young. They were all less than 30 when the Black Album came out.
Right.
So, not everybody has that experience.
Mm.
So to gauge that, in time is the ultimate enemy when it comes to doing anything, because if you want a family and you want kids and such, you really have to really weigh that option of,
absolutely,
by the time I'm 30, am I still going to be doing this? Because if it hasn't happened by then, is it ever going to happen, kind of thing? And I think, and there's no, and I try to put this out on my show as much as possible, is I don't like the word local attached to my band, because we might be from Louisville, but we're independent metal,
right?
And all these people are independent artists, and that's all because they don't have to rely on people like Sony's and all this. So the timeline gets skewed a little bit, because now with the advent of technology, time is not necessarily, it can actually help you out, because you can do the same stuff in your late 30s and such, because it's not like it used to be, which is totally cool.
Yeah. Like you said, time is your enemy, but also the times.
Yeah.
Because I remember being 16 years old in my first band ever, and it was garbage. But
I didn't know he played in garbage.
Well, not in that band.
Okay.
But you could be in some garbage band and go play a show with three other bands, and there'd be 300 people there, no problem. Back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then today, it may just be a local thing, it may be our nation thing, or whatever. But you know, you almost have to be at a certain level to even have people come see you play.
Right.
Which doesn't help anybody's motivation if they're, you know, like, for example, I played in the band and with four people from Cuba, and they were on the metal. We were doing good, and they were used to playing like festivals in front of 10,000 people or more. You know, they're in Cuba.
Where they had nothing to do and they're playing for 12 people.
Yeah. So, and we were being offered big shows. We didn't even have to ask. And it wasn't like we were doing anything different than anybody else around. But life happens. The drummer moved back to Miami, where he was before he came here to Kentucky. And then the vocalist and the guitar player both had kids. And then their father passed away, and then it just all dissolved. It was over. And that was probably, you know, my best chance of going beyond to, you know, stepping up to the next level.
Right.
Besides, you know, overloads.
Right.
Now, did you guys always know you wanted to be a musician, or did you want to be something else when you were younger?
For me, I wanted to like get into science and possibly like aerospace.
Cool.
And considering how much of a dumbass I am now, that's definitely not an option.
He's really smart.
No. But my mom got a guitar when I was probably 10 or 11 years old for her, because she wanted to actually learn how to play. And she was a singer back when she was in her, you know, teens and early 20s and stuff. But she sang like gospel music and stuff like that. But she brought home a guitar, and, you know, I would just sit there and just bang away on strings on it. And then all of a sudden, like when I was like 12 years old, it's like, let's ask our parents for instruments for Christmas and let's start a band. And everybody was guitar player, but I was like, I'm going to play bass. So that's how my thing started. And then ever since then, I haven't looked back.
Yeah. What about you, Todd?
So my dad in the 60s, he was a bass player and singer.
Killer.
He was part of the musicians union, and he did get a couple gigs, you know, pretty big gigs, you know, bigger artists or whatever. But he ended up working in a recording studio that was local. And one day, somebody walked in and was like, "Hey, I'm looking for an engineer for the road, and manager." And it was a Christian gospel singer. So my dad got the gig and did that for about 30 years. And this guy had won Grammys and stuff. So that's music was in my family on my dad, through my dad. You know, when I was a kid, I picked up the bass and just played with it. I didn't know what I was doing. I still barely know what I'm doing, but
well, you're a lot better at a lot of things than I am. So at least you can play lead guitar.
So after that, you know, I had a friend that had a guitar, and I was like, "Oh, cool, guitar! I've never seen one of these. Or played one of these." The bass guitar I had. So I asked for a guitar for Christmas. I got a guitar, and then that's all I did. I kind of lived in the country a little bit when I was growing up, so there wasn't much to do except, you know, fish and watch TV. So I played my guitar a lot.
Right.
And then, you know how everybody has, the dream, rock star. You know, I was planning on going out and getting some leather. I'm growing my hair out, you know. All this stuff, silly stuff, you know, when you're a kid. But the older I get, the more my motivations change. You know, to where it's not about attention or money, because it's more about having a good time with friends and trying to create something.
The artistry
Yeah.
and a good time, yeah. Absolutely. I can dig that.
So my question for you, I'm sorry, go Fran.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, my question for you guys: what do you want to leave as your legacy?
Wow,
Mhm.
that's heavy because for me, I think it's something that I think what I would like to leave behind is something that some kid is going to discover in their parents' or grandparents' attic in 50 or 60 years. And just as I had when I was a kid, getting a hand-me-down record from somebody in my family and saying, this was the shit when I was young. You're totally going to dig this. And that's all I could ever hope for, 100 years from now, with me being dead and gone, just the stuff that I've contributed to music and just put out in the ether that way, just to see where, hopefully it, some caretaker of metal at that point in time. Like, I always view like people who are interviewers and podcasters and videocasters and such to be the caretakers of metal, to do the same thing as I try to do with my show. That I'm just, this is awesome. You should check these guys out because you're totally going to dig it. And they might, just the same way people listen to like people like Jimi Hendrix today, and he's been gone for 40 years or 50 years at this point.
Yeah.
And, just like that, that's what I would like to have happen.
What about you, Todd?
Yeah, Todd, go.
This may sound pessimistic, and it may take a little time to explain, but I really don't know. But what I can say is that my idea of a legacy is something that I guess you want to be remembered by. Obviously, it's probably the definition. And you think about like many of artists that were in the limelight that have passed away, they're gone. It doesn't matter to them anymore.
Right.
But like he was saying, how it affects other people, even if, and that's another thing too. When you're actively doing something, you don't know how it's going to affect somebody else or where it's going to go. And you can't base all of your efforts on what am I going to get out of it, as opposed to what it is. And I'd rather be where I'm at now than be at the top a lot of times, because all that's going to happen is somebody's going to take your death and try to capitalize off of it. Which, I mean, that's how it works. But it's kind of sad to me. Like somebody could put so much, basically their whole life into something, and it doesn't matter anymore. It's just what somebody can get out of it.
Right. I see what you're saying with that.
It may be confusing. And like I said, it may sound pessimistic.
No, I get it. I get that completely, actually. It's some crazy ass background that's going on over there. Huh? We lost him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in Philly. He might pop back in. I don't know. We lost him though. So what would you, if you could give your 15-year-old self a piece of advice for the future, what would it be?
You go first this time.
This is going to take a long time. How many hours we got?
No,
I'm kidding.
I don't have a set timer. I don't work Sunday nights anymore. Keep going.
Okay,
so you said his phone died.
Oh no,
I'm going to sound like a dad, even though I'm not one. So, like I said earlier, if you really want to do something and you want to go as far with it as you can, that's all you do. That's it. You try to find anything and everything within the realm of what you want to do and study it and learn it and work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there will come a time to where if you're 15 and those, I'm going to be a rock star, I'm going to be cool, so on and so forth, when it's not going to matter anymore. So you have to realize that. Like right now, you're going to want that, and you're going to think you want that, but you may not in the future. Stay away from drugs and alcohol, because all that it's going to do is waste your time. And even cigarettes. I smoke, I drink. I'm not being a hypocrite, but I know what it does. So just do some math. Okay, a pack of cigarettes, 20 cigarettes. It takes about 5 minutes to smoke a cigarette. If you smoke a pack a day, that's almost 2 hours. Yeah,
Right.
Roughly 2 hours of your day, you're smoking cigarettes instead of honing your skills, working on what you need to be doing.
Right.
And that's cigarettes. Well, add alcohol or marijuana, weed, whatever you want to call it. I've tried it once, and I just wanted to sleep. That was it. And I was thirsty. I just wanted to sleep, and I was thirsty. So if you're sleeping all the time, you're not getting anything done. If you can't walk, you can't play your guitar. If you can't talk, you can't sing. So that's where the alcohol comes in. So if you're on alcohol, drugs, and you're smoking a bunch of cigarettes, you're wasting all your time. And time is what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether you're the most talented thing in the world, or you think you are, or not, you need to work.
Right.
So for me,
Mm-hmm.
and you're absolutely not wrong with that. So don't waste your fucking time, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, you got to be around like-minded people too if you're trying to.
Yes.
Yes, because it won't happen either. Like, when I hit 30, I was like, I really want to actually try and do this music thing. So I got some people that I thought were on the same page as me. I ended up writing all the songs, and wasting a lot of time and lost a lot of motivation because I was waiting.
Right.
And they didn't have the same goal as me. And that's fine, but you got to be around the like-minded people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the advice that I would give my 15-year-old self is don't be afraid to take risks, because that was my biggest thing when I was a kid. I had a friend who moved to LA and played, like the band moved to LA kind of shit in like the mid 90s. And I was just like so enamored by that. And they were out there for maybe 2 years, and the guy had to come back home to Louisville, and just he sold pieces of his gear to get back home.
Oof.
So it gave me this innate fear of not being able to get back home if something were to happen out on the road, kind of thing. So it took me a long time to actually be able to get into a mindset to actually wanting to go on tour. And because I've always loved traveling, don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but like that innate fear was always there at that point. So it's like I couldn't go 2,000 miles away or 1,000 miles away from home and be just like stuck somewhere. It's like, so what the hell do you do at that point? How do you get home? And that was a risk. You have to take that risk. You have to gamble that, because people live everywhere. There's jobs everywhere. There's places to live everywhere. If it happens and your van breaks down in Topeka, Kansas, like it did, there's people that live there too. And if you have to, you can always set up shop and get a job and do what you got to do to make it back and to do whatever. So take the risk, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because
Go ahead.
the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. And I've heard somebody say, music is a young man's game as far as getting started and actually going all the way with it. Limit your responsibilities. If you can, don't have kids yet. You don't have to go to college. you don't, because I spent 10 years pursuing a career that I end up
Not doing.
not doing.
Yeah.
So if I knew, I wouldn't have went to college, and if I wanted a house, I would have worked for it.
And you would have saved $250,000 in student loan debt.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And that depends on what his major was too. That could have been just
He's a
freshman
pilot.
sophomore year.
He's a
You know?
pilot. Yeah, he can fly planes, yet he doesn't fly planes.
Are you a
So-
licensed pilot?
Yeah,
Killer.
yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
With
So
the degree
obviously you
and
can. So you can obviously do a 2-engine. Can you do the 747s and the big boys?
I'm not typed in a 747, but I do have a jet type rating, a Cessna Citation, which is a small, like 6-seat business jet.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too. I had dreams too when I was going to flight school. Because I was like, what can I do? Because I felt like I had to go to college in order to be quote unquote successful, make money. And the whole reason I wanted to go to college was to have and be a pilot, because I knew they made a lot of money, and I could have a nice studio.
Right. That's where it's at.
But I even had the fantasy of like, I'll just be like Iron Maiden, I'll just fly the band around.
Well, I'm still waiting on you to fly us
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, that costs a lot of money.
Yeah, a little bit. Or a lot of it, something like that. All right, so I'm gonna throw some fun questions out there.
Sure.
I got quite a few of them to pick from. I got a lot. I did some studying
Nice.
on this one for you guys. I wanted to.
I
Have
do this on my show as well, so I like it when the tables get turned a little bit.
You know what? It's fun and it's it can be entertaining. You never know what the answers are gonna go. They can go far left and just have you literally falling out of your seat with the responses. And I love that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. What is your favorite love song?
Wow. Favorite love song?
Love song.
Honestly,
love ballad. Anything love song.
Well, I would probably have to say "Paradise" by the Dashboard Lights, just because I'm a fat guy who's a singer too.
That's great.
Here's where you're going to ask music questions like this, and Todd doesn't know names of songs.
Well, yeah.
He knows some.
Okay. So, isn't every song a love song or a hate song?
Well, that's the theory that I have. It doesn't matter whatever the song is. It can be politics. It could be, church. It could be whatever. It's still ultimately about your significant other at the time.
I'm not. It's a very broad question. Any way you want to answer it.
I don't think I would have a favorite, but you're gonna laugh at this. I think there's a band called Marcy's Playground
Oh gosh.
called Lightning Crashes.
No, Lightning Crashes is the band Live.
Okay.
Sex and Candy is Marcy.
No.
And if it's Lightning Crashes, oh my gosh.
No,
I actively avoid that
I'll
band.
tell you a story, and this is kind of, I'm weird, whatever. Okay, so back when there were Walkmans,
Right.
and then you could also listen to the radio on your Walkman.
Mhm.
The song came on, and I was out in the country, just walking around, and for some reason, it made me think of my grandma and my grandmother dying. So I actually cried when I heard that song because I thought about my grandmother dying.
Oh.
So, but that is a love song.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
you love
You know,
It is.
It doesn't
So
have
that
to
might
be.
be messed up or whatever, but
No, that's actually. You know what?
That's why.
That's actually beautiful. I mean, a love song doesn't necessarily have to be regarding someone you love. I mean, that you're in love with. It could be, to your children. Something that reminds you of your children and your family. I mean, absolutely, man. So that's
Definitely.
awesome. That's actually beautiful. So I like that. Good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna bounce back and forth on some of these
Sure.
questions here. What is the best song that you feel that you guys have released?
Ooh. Well, Todd, you've only been on the EP
Mhm.
at this Tales from Twin Earth. So, what would you? I'm almost curious on what you would say about that. What about about you?
Okay. The song titles are right here.
Yeah, he doesn't even know our song title.
You got the cheat list. It's okay.
Well, with Defy, I thought kind of got the Judas Priest drum vibe.
Right.
I was like that. And I think Usurper.
Definitely.
Usurper.
Yeah, it definitely fires on all cylinders. It's a great closer. For me, if I were to pick one of our songs over the last 15 years that I think would be the best, I would probably have to go with The Storm, Saving Me and Salvation. It's the last track on Only the Strong Survive, because that, to me, it's a 9.5-minute song of, just standing up for yourself and breaking the chains of life that the oppressive part of life. It just breaks you, that everybody feels imprisoned at a certain time. And that's very much a break free, that now you're saved. And it, that's your salvation. That to me is what it would be.
That's cool. That's cool. I definitely want to check out that album. I mean, I'm a survivor on a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about. One day maybe that story will get told, but anything that has to do with surviving the hardest times that people will just never understand unless you go through it. I mean, I'm very big advocate on it, and it hits that nerve. It strikes that nerve. It's just hit you right here, and you just connect.
For sure.
Definitely would love to check out more of those songs.
That's
So do you guys feel that you can get better as musicians?
Absolutely. Because I think personally, you never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop learning, then you might as well just die. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Whether it's applying a life lesson to your instrument, you go through a bad breakup, you lose somebody, you can put that energy into your craft. And whether it be, your voice, if you're a singer, you feel that pain, that you can sing it out and feel cleansed. Personally, back on where we were talking about this earlier, about me singing about things that are known to me, we don't play a lot of the same songs in the set anymore because of things that I've written about and have sang out years ago that I might want to revisit someday. But I think being able to apply that energy into my craft, I've been able to learn and grow from and be the person I am today. And so, yeah, I totally feel like things in my life have forced me to get better at what I do.
Yeah.
Definitely. Obviously, there's always room to improve. There's so many styles of music, techniques, and some that I'll never be able to do. Just come to terms with it. I mean, I probably, if I put what I'm preaching, the effort into it, and the time, yeah. But like Mark was saying, as far as music's expression, it's an outlet for a lot of people. And there's so many talented people out there that you never heard. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I think that's why music is still around, especially with lyrical music. You can get emotion from the music itself, but with lyrics, you can directly express yourself, or in a roundabout way. But one song can mean 10 different things to 10 different people.
Very much.
Yeah.
So it's a way to express them. I've heard this said that always be careful what you write about because you don't know how it's going to affect somebody else.
Right.
So
It's very
like,
true.
hearing songs about, suicide and this and that, it might push somebody over the edge. Be like, oh, okay. You got to be careful when it comes to that because
it's an unfortunate truth.
Right.
Bob Gorecki has a question. He said, "What is the weirdest club that you have ever played?" For him, it was a chicken wire stage back in the 70s. And people had bottles of whiskey on the table instead of beer.
Holy shit.
they throw them
Sounds like my kind of place.
Right?
I've played a lot of weird places. We play, honestly, this is like from when I was a teenager. We had a friend who had a band, and his mother wanted to see him succeed so much, she bought a rundown laundromat that they turned into a venue. And it was not a good venue. Let's just say that. Instead of doing any kind of renovation, they basically just built like a 2x4 stage that was like 8 inches off the ground. And instead of, actually painting the walls and stuff, it was all graffiti. It was basically like a crazy hangout. It's no longer there, of course, but like super small town stuff. Other than that, probably a cattle barn, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. It was actually a cattle barn for a country school, and they had their own local radio station, and we played for the radio station in their cattle barn. And it was not Overload at that time, so I will say that.
Cattle barn. Wait, hold on. I gotta know. What are the acoustics like in a cattle barn?
Terrible. And honestly, there was a place here in New Albany, Indiana, that we played. That if you've ever seen the Lou Gehrig retirement speech from baseball, how he's talking to the crowd and you get the echo back.
Oh wow! That was
we
a long
did
time ago.
play in a place that did that same thing.
Oh
it was
wow!
So bad, you could not hear anything on stage until it came back to you from across the room.
Oh wow!
So it's probably the worst place I played.
I wouldn't say it was weird, but it was the National Guard Armory.
You and a bunch of wrestlers.
Yeah.
That's definitely different. What was that like?
Oh, it was almost like a basketball court in a way. I think there was a basketball court there.
Probably.
And Humvees in there. Who knows what else?
Yeah, the acoustics echoing off the armor-plated vehicles.
Right. That's great. Well, what are some of your favorite venues that you've played?
Go ahead, Todd.
Well, there's a place called Headliners Music Hall locally that's good.
Yes.
That's been around for a long time. Played in that metal band there multiple times. I don't know if I opened up for Deicide.
Oh yeah,
I probably have. But they played there a few times. That's probably the best one.
Headliners is really good. For me, the whiskey.
Yeah.
I haven't got.
You didn't get to do
out
that.
There.
You didn't get to do that. That was before your time in the band. But yeah, that place, I was crazy. Like, I sent it as a joke. I sent just a stupid bullshit email saying, "Hey, we're going to go on tour this summer. What dates do you have open?" And they're like 9 a.m, and I'm on Eastern time. 9 a.m. Eastern time. I had a reply back waiting on that Monday. It said, "What date would you like?" And I'm like, wow, this got real fast. And so I had to book it. And I was surprised with the way the turnaround, like how early the town was. Like by midnight, everybody was almost going home. And I was like, what? because Louisville's a late town, 4 a.m. at most bars and shit, right?
Right.
And the interaction of the audience there, where between like teardown and setup, that everybody's just kind of intermingling, talking with one another, and then we used to go on stage and just like pound on like an open, like a heavy note, and just like all these people that were sitting here talking just went. It was like watching the Red Sea part, and everybody just. I mean, and that's when I realized I had to take a step back, because it's like, wow, they just kind of just like being focused right in on me on stage, and I was just like, this is heavy. And there's probably like 500 people in there, and it's totally cool. So the Whiskey's mine, best place I ever played, I think, and the sound was amazing.
That's cool. All right, what is your most useless talent?
Getting involved with people that like fucking that like I don't know, fucking just there's no future in getting involved with certain people, and I get involved with people.
I can go many different ways.
My talent is I eat a lot of shit from a lot of fucking people.
That's too funny.
Not to put too fine a point on that.
I mean, I guess music would be the only talent that I think I have. What would you?
But that's not your most useless talent.
Well,
your most, I would say your most useless
probably.
talent would be the alcohol consumption.
Yeah, right.
Because you're very talented at that.
Oh yeah. Work in progress. But
He likes bourbon.
That is great. That is funny. Let's see. Here's a fun question. Another one. I got a few. Like I said, I got a few of them.
Right.
Where or how would you start to look for a needle in a haystack?
Burn the haystack.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was a haystack in the needle.
Yeah. A piece of hay in a needle stack.
Yeah.
I would burn the haystack, actually.
Smart. Hell yeah.
Well, yeah.
See, that would have been the last thing I would have thought. I'd be like, I'd be sitting my ass down going one by one.
Oh, gosh, no.
Burning it down would be too easy.
Results.
Burning it down would be too easy. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to sit right here for the next 5 hours. Why aren't manholes square?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I mean, because storm drains are square, rectangle shaped, but that's weird.
I have no clue. They're manholes because man can fit down in them. Men are square. I don't know. Men are square. I don't know.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I really have no answer for that other than that's probably not a civil engineer. Honestly. Because I would probably put too much thought into stuff like that and would never get anything accomplished. Wait a second. That's why the people are in government the way they are.
Well, one response is actually transportation reasons. It's easier to roll a circle than it is a square.
Well, I could see that. Yeah.
Well, that's what it's moving it around. I know that.
Right.
There's a couple of good ones, but yeah, I thought about that. And I'm like, this would be a killer question to ask somebody, and I figured you guys are perfect for this. I'm loving this. So, okay. If you were to run into a former boss, what advice would you give him?
Ooh. I've only, I'm one of those people that I've only had a few bosses because I stay where I said my most useless talent was eating shit from a lot of people. I do it from a lot of my employers as well. I usually stay in places longer than I need to. So I would sit there and say, Jim, maybe you shouldn't fucking be a dick and give people the money that they're worth.
All right.
So
I'd say, did you go out and find a job yet?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything's been handed to you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh,
That's a good one, Todd.
If there was one song that you can have played every time you walk into a room, what would it be?
What do you think, Todd? What would be the song? What would be your entrance music?
Mm-hmm.
My entrance music. I never thought of that.
Probably something from Nightwish, honestly.
Maybe. I don't even know. I'll let you go.
Oh,
See, I know if you did that to me, I'm doing it to you.
right. If I could walk into a room, wow. Probably Whiplash by Metallica.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of the heavy kicking shit on there that's just like once it starts rolling, there it is. And it's and just as Lars said about Motorhead one time, it's not a band, it's a way of life. I think that song is a way of life. It's out there in your face.
Yeah. That's good. Hell yeah.
The final countdown.
Oh gosh.
I don't know.
You do like European metal.
That's when I'm leaving a place or before I leave work.
It's the final countdown.
Yeah.
Oh.
When I'm walking out of work.
I actually sing that song all the time. every time it's come to the nitty gritty or something, I just start screaming, "It's the final countdown!" And everyone's like, "Shut up!"
Right.
I hear it so much. That's awesome. Mine would be "Eye of the Tiger." I think it's because I'm an Italian.
Yeah, and you said that as just as I was saying the Rocky theme.
Yep.
Hey, I could redo that song and call it the Eye of the Cooter.
Oh gosh. No,
Which
don't
one?
do that. He said he's going to redo the parody of Eye of the Tiger and make
Okay, I want to hear it. I got to hear it. I
I
did want to hear a parody. I did want to hear a parody.
Yes.
I got to hear it.
Oh,
I'm serious.
no, I'll do the full thing.
Yeah, he has to
I'll
do.
do the full thing.
Yeah, he can't do it on the spot. He actually has to go and record everything.
I'm not,
Okay.
He doesn't use karaoke tracks either.
All right. If you can get that going and you send me a recording of it, I will play it on the Savage page
Yes, we'll get that.
and have some fun with it. Would love to hear it. That's awesome. All right, so you guys, what do you guys got planned for 2022? Besides, of course, the fest that's coming up in what was it, June, July?
July.
July.
We actually are in talks right now with a few other people to do a couple other festival shows, and I really want to get together and do a new EP this year, and hopefully we'll have that ready by. Hopefully we can have it ready by the Metal Fest show. That would be all, opportune, I guess. So that's what I would like to do personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I still like the idea of doing like a week-long tour.
Yeah.
But hitting nice vacation spots, taking everybody with us, family stuff.
Right.
Hey, let's go out to eat and let's go check this out and then let's go play.
Right. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty badass. And outside of the band, I just want to grow the Metal Forge, my podcast, as much as I personally can this year. So getting better guests, doing better shows, keep it going week to week as I already have been. So
That's killer. So you guys got a bunch of fests coming up. Definitely cool.
definitely.
What are you guys hoping for, and where you hope to be in 5 years with the band?
Well, hopefully another album or two for sure, and still playing with Mike and Todd, because I've been told by so many people that this is out of everybody who's ever been in the band, that this is the best lineup that has ever been. So that's definitely, I don't take stuff like that lightly, I guess. Right. So I just want to continue making awesome music with those two guys, and, seeing where it takes us.
Oh, yeah.
Same here. But because, I've tried to start other projects just because, and they 90% of the time, well, I'll say 100% of the time, they don't work out.
Right.
Because somebody don't want to put the time in, or they don't have the time.
They're preoccupied.
Yeah, which is okay. It's okay. I'm here to stay. I like where I'm at. I just want to make more music and get out more.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But definitely keep in touch with me with any new songs you guys come out with, any new releases. Love to help get it out there,
Definitely. And we appreciate that so much.
Absolutely. I have a love for the music and the scene and everything you guys do, man. You guys bust your asses. People don't realize how much you really do. It's not just a matter of grabbing a pen and paper and writing songs down. There's a lot of headache, a lot of just everything that goes into it. It's beyond stressful. It's not just playing with bands and, with your band and working with multiple people in that, the musicians in that band, but you got to deal with your home life too, because that can go chaotic, and, it contributes. There's a lot of stress involved. There's a lot. So I have mad respect for you guys.
And a lot of people don't realize the fact either is, while people like anybody like Metallica or Overload or Motorhead or these independent bands are making music that enhances your life and the people around their's life, for each and every triumph, there's probably 10 or 20, failures or pieces of time where you just get so discouraged and let down that you just want to quit. I go through it all the time. And I think about like playing with Todd and Mike, and it's like, what? I like doing that. And I'm not going to quit over some stupid bullshit feeling that I have, because, that's just the human condition at what it is at its most primal. So definitely, as Todd was saying earlier, take the time, put in the effort, do it because you like to do it, not because you think you're going to be a bazillionaire and you're going to be playing on 6 continents and stuff. That just do it because you like to do it ultimately.
Right. But if you want to have a chance at that, you got to work it.
Yeah, you do have to work your ass off to do that. So.
Sleep is not an option. It's not. All right, I got a couple more fun questions for you guys, and I've been saving these. I've been saving these for last.
Oh,
so right. Are you ready? Okay.
Oh yeah, fire away.
If you had one day to live, who would you want to spend it with, and what would you do?
Can pick anybody.
Anybody.
I'd want to spend it with Dad again. Yep. Miss the old man, and I'd really like to spend it with my dad again, just because.
And what would you guys do?
Honestly, at this point, I would probably just want to hang out with him and just talk. Just to talk to him again, I think. Other than that, the next closest person would have been my wife. So.
That's beautiful, hon.
Of course, I haven't been through anything like Mark has, as far as that goes. As far as my life is now, I think I'd be fine right here.
Right on, dude.
Going home after this or wherever I'm going.
But if you had one day to live, and
Yeah.
you knew this,
And it was today.
who would you
This is
spend
fine.
it with, and what would you do?
Dude, come on, seriously.
No, seriously. I'm not. When I was younger, I had people I idolized or whatever. I was like, oh, I wish I could meet them. This and that. What I would do. I like to play a huge stage somewhere with a kick-ass sound system.
Maybe about 500,000 people there.
No.
No, just an empty arena.
No, it wouldn't sound as good if it was empty, though.
That's true. You'd leave at least one person.
Yeah, at least one.
But that'd be a lot of stages. That'd be a lot of stages. The stages with the good sound. I mean, that minimizes it, but
Right.
but that's a lot of flying. Good thing you're a pilot, right? So
Yeah.
you can fly your own ass there.
I'm still here, right?
Right.
That's too funny. All right, so last one.
All right.
This one's kind of fun. This one was actually told to me by a friend, by somebody who's just like, here, ask this. And I was like, okay, I like this. Last supper scenario. Who would you want at your table, and who would be your Mary Magdalene?
Wow.
Uh-huh.
What do you think, Todd? You answer this first. Who would be at your table?
I'd be your Mary Magdalene.
No, you.
Who would be your apostles? It doesn't have to be 12. You don't have to name 12 people.
Yeah. Who would?
No.
Do you even know 12 people?
I don't. Let's see. I mean, basically everybody that's in my life now, they'd all be there. I mean, I'm not big on
Right.
worried about other people that aren't involved. I guess
I know what you mean.
I'd be it.
Right.
So Mark be there, Mike be there. The wife would be there.
She'd probably be your Mary Magdalene, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. Yep.
Yeah. Brothers and sisters.
Right on.
That's cool.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
Ha,
He would be
right.
George would be
Yeah.
your Mary Magdalene.
Definitely.
George would definitely be my my main apostle, I think. My John. Wow. I would definitely have, even with parting on bad terms, whatever, with other band members, they would definitely be there. So, at some level, Mike Vaughn, Donnie Cranmer would still be there. Cheyenne would be there still. Sorry, my phone did my 20% shit. As for my Mary Magdalene, wow.
Mhm.
That's a tough one.
Mhm.
That is a very, very tough one. Obviously, my friend Holly would be there at the table as well, because she's probably my biggest confidant in all of my life that I've ever got to, one of the only people that knows everything pretty much about me. Mary Magdalene, wow. I think I'm going to do the cop-out thing here, and I think I'm going to say somebody that's famous. Would probably be Wendy.
Absolutely.
Would probably be Wendy Williams from the Plasmatics.
All right.
Because she's gorgeous and savage and awesome. And, just seeing her running the car through the stack of televisions and shit. It's just badass. She's totally badass.
I like that. That's good. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, it could be anybody. That's awesome. You guys, I had a lot of fun with this. Thank you
Likewise.
so much for coming on. If people want to check you guys out, what pages do you have? Where can they find you?
You can currently find us on Facebook.com/official overload, or you could go to officialoverload.bandcamp.com for any kind of merch and CDs and stuff.
Yeah.
We still sell CDs, yeah, and digital. And you can find all of those links as well on officialoverload.com.
That's awesome. You guys, thank you so much. This has been fun. This has been fun.
Absolutely, friend. Thank you for having us this week. It's been totally rad. I've had such a good time. Todd and I don't sit down and do this much. I think the last time any kind of interview was done, I think it was just me. So I like hearing what Todd has to say about some things. He's an interesting cat. That's why he's in the band.
Well, yeah, definitely, you guys. Mark, Todd, definitely would love to have you guys on in several months. See how you guys have how the band's come along. Maybe I can have all three of you on, and I'll figure out, what I got to do with YouTube, so we can start having bands play their music again, because YouTube is attacking all the podcasts.
Yeah,
as you know, they're starting to hit all of us, which is why I couldn't start out with a video, which feels really weird. I didn't do that, but I got to save face. But I'm definitely here for you guys. So I would
absolutely, and thank you, and keep doing what you're doing, because, like I said earlier, doing podcasts, video casts, being a DJ, an actual music DJ, that is we're the caretakers of metal at this point.
Absolutely.
We turning people on to new bands is such an awesome thing, and thank you for doing what you do.
Absolutely.
And, whatever the musician does is what you're doing too.
Right.
You're a creator. You're putting in the time, the effort, and you're
Absolutely
actually helping everybody.
Definitely. Well, you are very welcome. Awesome. You are very welcome. You guys, thank you again. You guys have a beautiful day. Enjoy Sunday Fun Day and enjoy Super Bowl.
You too. Thank you, friend.
All right. You guys have a good one.
See ya.
Peace out.